I was dead set on art for sure. I did not have any plans on doing anything else for real. Like, I would say things to please the people around me, but it was not true. Not saying I'm lying, but it's more just like I'm trying to convince myself that I want to do something else just to have like a security blanket. But I feel like this is my true calling, and if I'm doing something else, it doesn't really make sense to me.
Before I went, my mind was pretty much made up. Like I didn't want to go, but I was trying to appease like my family members, my mom, my granddad. They really wanted me to go, but the plan was the following year to move to LA and like really pursue the music grind heavily.
Probably like as early as age 13, 15. I knew I wanted to be a writer. When I got older and folks were like, okay, no, she's dead ass for real about making a career of this. I think then it was kind of like, let's try to introduce her to something else, because we don't have any working artists in our family. We don't know how that's going to work out for her.
Like classwork and stuff, that's never really been hard for me. It's just like, I don't want to do it.
I might be good at doing something else, but I feel like this is truly like what I'm here to do.
Could I have tapped into like other layers of myself? Absolutely. But I think I was just so invested.
Actually, the feeling that I get while I'm doing it feels like more than just me. It feels like what I'm making has actual purpose.
Ultimately, it's just like, it feels like my highest form of self-expression.
I can't imagine doing something else with this amount of passion.
I don't know. I like music that resonates, honestly.
Have you heard of Doechii?
I love Doechii. Like, she would have satisfied what I wanted, like, when I was in 8th grade, you know? How it started was music that I wanted to listen to. I like the beats and stuff like that, but I'm just like, this isn't my story all the way. Like, dang, I need more music catered to me.
I create stories where Black girls and women are the center of their own universe.
It's something about watching Black joy that just makes me really just be like, all right, I'm gonna create something that's going to be seen as valuable to other people and not just to a family. The value that picture has is a lot more to me than anybody could ever really understand. So it's making something that other people can understand.
A repeating like thing in my life is not being heard. So I feel like my art is kind of a way to just like communicate something instead of just like sitting in silence.
It's like when it comes to me expressing myself, it's very convoluted because it's not just like I'm just channeling my own personal experiences and things. It's certain stuff that have put on me growing up and things I've taken on interacting with other people. And it's kind of just changed how my perspective is and outlook on things. I'm bringing what's inside of myself out in an expressive manner where it's healthy as opposed to like just releasing that energy in negative ways.
All that trauma, all the experiences that you've had in your life, from ancestral trauma to some of the things that we've all been through that maybe people don't know about, they had to go somewhere. And if we aren't intentional about releasing it, it kind of stays in.
It gets suppressed because of the environment. We're in the fucking Matrix. They don't want you in free play mode. They want you to like play the game, like and just be cooperative. Nah.
There's definitely things in my life that I would say can be perceived as not being free, and they definitely don't seem free to me as well. But I don't like to ponder on those things.
Freedom feels like no worry. Flow, relief, it feels like play. And in America, there's very little freedom because it don't feel like play here.
Systematic oppressions are a real thing.
Sometimes it's hard to run with your foot in the chains. Walk through the rain.
For the working class and for the majority, it don't feel like freedom here.
Everyone deserves shelter, a safe environment. There's so much gentrification that's happening, and the cost of living is ridiculous. The art funding isn't even here. I would love for humans to be given the opportunity to thrive, not just survive.
I don't want to be in a panic state from the worry. So I would go more towards like being optimist, just so you can like manifest that.
Because art is like such a personal thing that it's not just what you see, it's actually way deeper than that. And it's not just the techniques, it's not just the skill. And I feel like being at school, it kind of takes the whole heart out of art.
It's hard to see it when like a lot of people put you down.
I feel like when I'm around people who don't actually support me, I can know without like consciously knowing. So like subconsciously, I wasn't working on my art because I didn't want them to consume my art, or I wasn't working on certain aspects of myself because I didn't feel like they were people who would appreciate it for what it was.
You're also going to be constantly critiqued and constantly comparing yourself to other people. And it's like, I felt like that was unhealthy. I shouldn't be stressing this hard over changing something that I truly felt should be the way it is. Not saying I'm not open to critique. I love the critiques. But it just felt kind of like against the natural flow of how I like to create art.
I was having like a hard time trying to balance working a job, making music, doing shows, hanging out with friends, and really just trying to be as creative as possible while also feeling that restriction of doing shit that I didn't want to do.
If I wanted to keep going and actually do what I needed to do for myself, not going to school is the best decision.
And I don't think it's even limited to college specifically. It's just if you exchange college for anything else and it held that same amount of weight, I would have felt the same thing.
Because I was alone, it was kind of just well, I ain't got shit to lose. And I'm not trying to find appreciation or be appreciated for what I'm doing. I'm just doing it for myself.
At a point, it's just you gotta give up something for your own peace of mind.
You just have to be brave enough to cheat. You have to cheat the matrix, okay? Because the system is designed to keep you in a queue, basically. Get out of the box. Get out of the box.
When I hear of the great folks who I just look up to, these kind of bigger than life figures, if you will, like Toni Morrison and Octavia Butler and Maya Angelou, I hear women that were very accountable for their vision. They didn't just leave it to will that they would write novels. It was an intentional practice. They set aside time. They stole time back because capitalism robs us all of some time and just some opportunities to just tap into ourselves.
We all have it. We just have to really funnel in and see it.
I'm not really the biggest fan of capitalism.
I don't think money is happiness. I think it can be a tool used to enhance it.
Anytime I'm making something, I have to go out of my way to ignore it. I know that there are a lot of better systems that we could be using. It's just, as of right now, that's kind of where I'm maneuvering in my life. I have to go off of capitalism because that's how I get my rent paid. So selling art, selling music.
Really make a plan, visualize if I had the money or if I had the resources, what would I do right now? Have that plan, and now that you have it laid out, the universe kind of knows where you want to go.
The marketing and this, that, and the third, that's going to come. It's I have to have the stuff ready to be bought before I can just start marketing. So I just focus on the creation process. I always feel like I have a lot to work with. It's just unpacking it, organizing it, and getting it to be perceived is the hard part.
Well, accountability is a big thing for me. If you're a writer, you have to write. Being able to create those moments where it's nothing but you in your art, or it's nothing but you and ancestors, or whatever you need to get through, I think tap into that.
I've definitely had long creative blocks, but I feel like it's perception. I might have like a very strong creative block with like painting or drawing. That is just one part of art. While I'm not doing that, I'm creating something else, but it's just in a different way and I'm not really perceiving it as that, so I feel like I'm stuck. But no, I'm just putting that energy that I would put towards that to something else at the moment. And it's okay, like you're not gonna be doing the same thing. Even if you love it so much, you're not gonna be doing that every day. You do not have to limit yourself to one thing.
With music, I really feel like I'm supposed to be doing this and people are supposed to be hearing it and it's a thing. But it's like with painting, I'm just like, oh, it feels like my calling in a sense of, it just brings me internal peace. It's not for anyone or for any, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just for me.
As I've gotten older, I found more ways to kind of express myself, and I just feel like it's a lot easier for me to do that when I had multiple ways of doing so. Everything to me in my head is very similar but different. Like if I'm playing the piano, I can express the same emotions that I can when I'm playing the guitar if I'm playing similar chord progressions and notes and stuff, and it's just like I'm just hearing a different sound. It just helps me cope with stuff when I don't really know the words to kind of express how I'm feeling, so I just kind of make sounds.
Accountability to do the work also looks like accountability to practice grace with yourself. So it might not look like, okay, damn, I'm going to speed through these 5 pages and they're just going to just drip out my fingers. It might look like, okay, I'm going to do breathing exercises for 30 to 45 minutes, right? I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to come back. I'm going to see what happens.
I've definitely have had creative blocks. I just give myself time, or I focus myself in other avenues. If I feel like, okay, this is not the time for me to make music right now, I'm not connecting with anything, then, you know, I'll go do something else or just like put my focus elsewhere or put my focus in myself.
When other things are going on, which it always happens, some type of turmoil somewhere, you can get blocked. But I think it's just meant for you to go through that situation and be able to reflect on it later.
The clearer my mind is, the clearer my heart is, the more stable I feel, the easier it is for me to write. Like I don't really enjoy writing with a hungry belly, you know. Like I don't enjoy writing and sometimes I can't write, just to be honest with you, when my mental health isn't clearer.
If you're in a routine, you might not make art that you like, but even though like you have a bad day at work, you still kind of go back to work. But not everybody kind of sees it that way. They're just like, oh, I have a creative block, I should stop. And it's like, nah, try to get some inspiration, just do something different or like experience something different. That usually helps.
For me, the freedom really looks like wellness, you know. It looks like I'm able to really be well while I do the work that I love and that I feel like I'm called to do.
The procrastination comes when it's like, oh no, can I make something as great as what I did yesterday? Can I continue to show progress no matter what? I had to step out of that mindset because it limits you, because you're automatically going to be making that progress because you're doing stuff. I'm enough just being me.
For me, freedom always, though, at the center of it, it means to be able to create from a place where it's not from scarcity.
I want people to feel like they're not limited to what they're seeing all the time.
Believe in your creator ability, because everybody's creative. Everybody has that connection to that higher thing. So it's like, yeah, just believe it and trust it.
For me, I just really wanted to stay true to the visions and the thoughts and the things that were like kind of given to me.
When I'm in a creative flow, I feel like I'm having an outer body experience. Like it's not really coming from me. It's the closest I feel to my creator.
It's so beautifully gifted to me where the only connection that I can make from it is that it was given by like the creator ancestors.
I can't take credit for it. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like that's from like my own, like my own creative mind or whatever.
Even when it seems like delusional or like it doesn't make sense to like do what I'm doing, typically I get through it somehow.
Nothing you do is truly going to be wrong if you truly feel like it's what you should be doing. And when you get more in tune with yourself and love yourself, just loving everything you do, loving your flaws and everything that encompasses your soul and just who you are, you'll understand what decisions make more sense and what paths are better for you to take. That's what's helping me like be so confident in what I'm doing all the time, because I'm like, I feel like whatever I'm gonna do, it's gonna help me in the long run. Everything we do is working together.
Regardless of what, as long as you don't ignore it and as long as you don't stop like and ignore like continuously, you're actually gonna make it there.
Don't feel like because you haven't hit certain benchmarks, you know, that you're behind.
Make a way, even if there isn't a way. And if you're not making a way, then you stop it. Like, that's it.
It's gonna happen when it happens, but when it happens, you want to still be whole. When all of your dreams happen, you still want to be able to be whole in the sense of you taking care of yourself, so you're able to enjoy that moment, to create new moments if you want to. So I can't stress enough and I can't amplify enough, I think, how important it is, especially for Black and BIPOC folk, to really center themselves in wellness outside of the work that they can do.
I'm satisfied with life. I do not just get by, I thrive. What a miracle to be up and alive. Sending love to those who are stuck in a fight. I cannot relate to the hate that they made up in their mind. I do not participate because every single time I'm down on my luck, down in the dumps, down in my darkest hour, you lift me up, you pick me up, you give me so much power.